America has curved the flat. That was the assignment, right? Curving the flattening the. And now it's time to send the kids back to school. Or is it? It's time for a reality check. Well, you know where this is going, but let's start with the complaints. But kids, they have to go to school. They don't get sick from COVID-19 as much as everyone else, and if they do, they're safe. Herd immunity. I can't teach my kids the things they learn in school. Well, no. Most of you have shown us that you would literally fail middle school science, math, history, English, any foreign language, PE, music class, and definitely geography, computer science. What am I missing? Everything. And this video actually focuses on countries that haven't gotten control of the virus. Gee, I wonder which ones that could be. And it's also a video about how to start up these school systems once the number of cases are low enough for that. But let's start with the reasons to open up schools first, because there are a lot of them. None of them trump a country's need to stop this pandemic, though. And by the way, seriously, now that I've mentioned it, can we find a new word for Trump? I feel like that word is ruined forever. To me, the biggest reason to start school is because it's putting an undue burden on the poorer families and families with two working parents. A lot of families in America have both parents working, and many of them can do that because the kids are, well, in school. What do we do when there's no school? One of three things. Number one, kids have to stay home with a babysitter, which costs money. Or two, one parent has to stay home, which means lost income. Or three, the kids are home alone, which can be pretty dangerous. The second reason that we would want to open up schools is it keeps kids fed and off the street. Again, this reason shows how the pandemic could negatively affect poor communities and often communities of color. Many school systems help subsidize poor students' lunches and even breakfasts. That's sometimes the best food they get in a day, or at least maybe the healthiest food they get in that day. But Alex, these are pretty good reasons to reopen. Let's just go ahead and do it. What's the problem? I mean, a few people will get sick, but all right, stop right there. You're out of your damn mind. We're literally in a pandemic that has killed over 130,000 Americans and other people around the world. But you know, America first. Yay! By the way, I don't have the math in front of me. 135,000 Americans. Do you know how many, Boeing 747 jets that would be? How many freaking 9/11s that is? A lot. A lot. There are definitely a lot of reasons to not open up schools. But let's get one thing clear. If there was some leadership at the top, America could have considered reopening. But it can't. It just can't. You all didn't do your homework, which was the most American thing to do ever. Stay home and watch TV. Don't go out. Just stay at home and Netflix and chill. But what are those reasons why it won't work? Let's go ahead and talk about them. Number one, how are you going to deal with an outbreak during school? A student comes in, a little sick, tests positive for COVID-19. That student has been going to class with hundreds of classmates that week. How do you deal with the outbreak? Do you shut the entire school down? Do you send home teachers and students for 14 days? Do you quarantine a class? It's going to be an absolute nightmare figuring out how to make sure that that disease doesn't spread to the other students at school. And some schools are considering dividing the school population into two groups. One group comes on Monday and Wednesday, and the other group comes on Tuesday and Thursday for a couple of reasons. Number one, you can spread out students in the classroom. Number two, what if one group of students gets sick and the other group should be safe, right? Well, you still have the same teachers who, if they contract the disease, they could give it to students on the other day as well. So then you have to quarantine the teachers from the first day of the week, but they can't come back to school. So who teaches them on the second day of the week? It just doesn't make sense. Reason number two is just not going to work in America is Americans won't spend the extra money that's needed for school and COVID. Tests cost money, like COVID tests. Plastic partitions in the lunchroom cost money. Not like these students would actually follow the rules and stay apart, but theoretically you'd want them. Paying for little things like hand sanitizers, or switching to automatic flushers in the bathrooms, or paying the maintenance crew extra to work overtime and do a deep cleaning every time they need to. Americans just don't spend money on schools. Although there's actually lots of reasons that America shouldn't go back to school, let's go to reason number 3, and I'll kind of stop here. America doesn't have a plan, a unified plan backed by science. Do you think they'll be able to pull off what they're doing in other parts of the world? Just no. Honestly, no. Just no. It's America, so no. Is it possible to open up right? Sure, let's look at South Korea. Step 1 is to get your society's numbers for COVID cases as low as possible. Even if it were just Florida's numbers for all of America, it would be too much. They get more new confirmed cases a day than Korea has had. Total. South Korea also has partitions for their students at lunch. Everyone has to wear masks, students and teachers. And you know there's gonna be no Korean kids claiming moral exemption or religious exemption or whatever it would be in the US. And they're not all in school at the same time, and they learn at home through online videos when they're not in school. But then again, you know that American kids probably wouldn't be doing their homework if they were just doing online video lectures. If America wants to be able to function, they've got to shut down non-essential services. Certain businesses, sports. I mean, I don't think they should be playing sports right now, at least not with a crowd and not without locking down the athletes and the coaches and the referees. Unless, of course, like South Korea, you get those American numbers down overall. It's just too much risk getting all your athletes sick, and they can die too. Look, it's a global pandemic, the likes of which the world hasn't seen for literally 100 years. Here's the reality check we've all been dealt. Our students might fall behind a year. Period. School sports may not happen. Things aren't normal. Yeah, Alex, but they shouldn't fall behind. Well, they will. But there are some good ideas to help get us back on track. Number 1, wear a mask. Geez, like, even if you think you're safe or being super safe, wear a mask and take pictures of yourself wearing masks so that it becomes normalized, and other people who wouldn't normally wear masks, they wouldn't be embarrassed to wear them. Just be a good role model. Number 2, what if we did something crazy? What if we completely changed the school timeline to the Asian school timeline? First semester in the winter or springtime. Second semester in the fall. Just have everyone fall back 6 months, forever. Of course, this plan only works if we commit to shutting down lots of our society and give the financial support needed to individuals and small businesses to keep them going, because we wouldn't want to fall into the same problem that we did last time, which was we sort of did a lockdown, but didn't lock down everything, and then the lockdown became pointless. Just like that, if we pushed school back 6 months and then we didn't fix the problem anyway, it would be, pointless. The other option, number 3, is to homeschool your kids. I know not everyone can do it, but if you can, or you can do it with a group of your family friends, consider it. How you spend your free time during the pandemic, you and your kids, will determine whether or not you relatively got ahead in society or whether or not you will fall behind. It's a lot to digest, but maybe it'll get your creative juices going as you consider how to help your community get back to the new normal, or get to the new normal. Everyone, hope you're staying safe out there. To my family and friends who are back in the States, I miss you all, and remember that I criticize America because I care, and I want to be able to go home and go to weddings and see my friends and family. So shape up and be safe. I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Haseyo.